Yeah, I heard the motorbike. You're still.
Yeah, I mean,
It's closed, yeah. Okay.
the thing is that my house is like the first one from the neighborhood, and outside is like the massive avenue. Yeah. And
I
then
have.
hope
We are online, live now
we are
already.
live
We
now.
need to wait. This is what it says here. So we need to wait a little bit more until 3 o'clock. We can just chit chat. It's nice to
All
see
right.
you.
Yes. Nice
Yeah.
to see you too.
It's a while ago. There is a Facebook on in the background.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Wait,
Let me
let's see it.
just.
But I didn't have my on. Must be from you.
Yeah, it's better, right?
I think so. But now I managed to.
Yeah, I think
Sorry,
sound is good. Yes.
I can see you, but I cannot see the chat anymore. I don't know what happened.
Okay. You you see your screen down when it says share. Next to it says chat.
No, something happened. Oh wait, can I open this button? No. Okay, this is a new for me. This never happened before. I don't know, Carlos, I'm sorry, but if I cannot see the chat, it's gonna be a little bit of an issue. You still hear me? Yeah.
Let me check my audio because.
Oh, wait. Okay, got it. Back.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, I hear you. I heard you.
Yeah, I don't know mine.
And now I can see the chat again. Don't
Okay.
worry. Cool.
Good.
So how's things in Mexico now? It's okay?
How things are in Mexico? Yeah, so now is, kind of like where this whole thing is peaking in Mexico. So this is the time that we're supposed to stay home harder.
Yeah. And you do?
And look, yeah, I'm really avoiding all kinds of contacts.
When did you get the chance to go freediving last?
Last time was March, beginning of March. Yeah, I was in the Mexican Caribbean on a fun mission of fun diving and creating stuff, and then this started to happen. So yeah, we have to.
So it's like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and here is like the pools, of course. Pools have no access, so I'm like.
Yeah. Meshy. It's a little bit more. I don't see the people yet in the room, but we wait a couple of minutes more, I think.
Okay.
But you were freediving a lot around the world just before you came back to Mexico, so
yes.
I think you can survive with a couple of months without, maybe.
Some, yes, I would be fine for some, but I kind of already start feeling like really the itch, like
Yeah, you do, yeah.
I start checking around, like there's this lagoon I've never been, 4 hours drive from here, or like there's this spot maybe, I'm just like really wanting to live.
Because where you are now, there is not a lot of cenotes around. It's not in that area, or no?
No, I'm just in the middle of the country, in the middle of the continent, basically. Just like zoom. Yeah.
So where would be the closest, like, to go freediving? The lake or the sea, or?
Well, I can go to the sea both sides. The closest one is, I think, like a 5-hour drive to the sea. It would be the Pacific, but that area might not have the best visibility and quite a lot of current. And but there's a lagoon close from here. For me, that's close, right? Maybe for some people in Europe, it's like a massive drive and you can cross countries, but it's like a 4-hour drive, and
yeah,
it's like a beautiful spring, like 33 meters deep.
And that's literally the closest if
That's
you
the
will
closest.
do any kind of free diving.
Of proper free diving. Yeah.
Pool, no, but I mean, on a line, like that would be that.
Yeah, with a good visibility, with a good temperature, and that would be the closest from here. So it's a little bit far. It's nice, but this place actually, like, many people goes just to spend the weekend, and it gets crowded. So of course it's closed.
Yeah, of course. Like anyway,
only free diving spot. It's like a family spot, so it's closed.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, yeah, you wouldn't go now anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but nice to spend some time with the family instead sometimes.
Yeah.
You didn't do for years, I think.
Yeah, many cool activities actually to do around, like, of course, not diving, but I've been getting super into like mountain biking and trail running and other things that I didn't do as much before.
At least you're allowed to go out.
Yeah. It's not as hard as in other countries as if they see you. But of course, I go in the woods, so nobody is like walking around. Hey, just nobody.
It's past 3 o'clock, so I think maybe we have some attendees listening, and maybe they came to listen to other things that trail running in the woods. So let's start with introducing ourselves properly. Yes. So I'm Lotta Ericson. I'm SSI Freediving Training Director, and I'm here today with Carlos Negrete Garcia. Let's not say your other special names. He's from Mexico, and is a freediver, obviously. And we talked to you today because specifically about the cenotes, mainly. It's such a big thing. The rest of the world who hasn't been there, we think it's absolutely magical.
Yeah.
You're the most lucky guy.
Yeah, they are beautiful. They are insanely beautiful.
Yeah. So, Carlos, just to start with asking some, background questions about you and your freediving career, but first, very simply, where are you from and where do you live now?
Yes, well, I'm Carlos. I'm from Mexico. I was born here where I'm located now, which is Guanajuato. It's right in the center of the country. Of course, I was not supposed to be here at the moment, and I end up traveling, and then all these events happened. So I just happened to be here. Couldn't make my way to Japan, and I stayed home. So it's quite funny to be in my hometown.
So you're from Mexico. You're at your hometown now, but you're supposed to be in Japan. This is what you say.
Yeah, borders are closed, so I had to stay. Of course, it's more safe to stay than going somewhere, and
Okay, so you kind of live in Japan, but being stuck in Mexico at the moment.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Not the worst place to be stuck in, maybe.
No, either. No. Like not bad at all.
Yeah. So how did you start freediving? Like you just said, you come from a central city with 4 hours to the water.
Yeah.
How did that happen for you? Like when and how did you start freediving?
Well, of course I was growing up here, so the main activities we were doing as a family and friends was like camping, going in the woods, climbing, like these kind of things we have available. Of course, we would go to the sea a couple times a year, and I would like to swim around and all these things. I remember like going on many vacations. My father was always super kind of natural for freediving. He was a martial arts teacher, and He was my instructor, my teacher. And yeah, he would always be like diving down easily, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 meters, maybe even a little bit more. And somehow I was always trying, but I had some equalization problems, which I didn't know exactly how to do things. I was just feeling, of course, the pressure. And he would always tease me like, yeah, you're missing some like lung capacity, or he would just say like, you're not ready, or blah blah blah. So I was always like, like I want to go down, you know.
All about beating your dad.
Yeah, well, it was just, he was also teasing like, yeah, you're not ready yet, you're not ready yet. And that kept going like for years. I'm like, yeah, this is just weird. I need to train more somehow, martial arts. I don't know how that's gonna help, but yeah, so that happened many years. And after university I moved to the Caribbean. I was not a big fan of the tropical weather and the hot weather at all. I was more of like camping and hiking volcanoes and all these kind of coldish activities. But you know, I got a nice job there in the music studio with the producing native music, and that was really fun. So I said I'll give it a shot, you know, for a few months. And I found freediving by chance. I had some neighbors, and we went on a Sunday, like one day off. We go to a cenote around Tulum, and then my friend, she's diving down like 10 meters and staying 1 minute, and I'm just like, again, you know, like how can these people do this? Like I cannot. Maybe she's a good martial artist. You know?
Yeah, because that's what I've been training, and it doesn't seem to be helping.
And I'm like, wow, how can you do that? And she immediately said, La, this is like an activity, you can take courses. And I was like, really? Like they can actually teach you this like formally? Yeah, sure. And 1 week after, I was doing my first course.
Wow. How long ago is this? When was it?
This was beginning of 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, as soon as after I did the course, it was just like, wow, like this is just something I really want to keep doing.
And the equalizing issue, like you kind of sorted it out there?
Yeah, it was not like a real, you know, so how some people have actual like proper physiologic like issue. Like no, it was just a matter of learning the movement, and it was like friends immediately. So I don't know, it was just easy. And of course now, instead of, I had a really nice project going on with the music studio, but now I just wanted to
free dive,
so I could go to the water, and that kept happening for months and months. So you know, of course, I started to.
Did you like when you after your first course and so, like, did you feel like immediately that you wanted to teach freediving? Or
so I loved the activity, but it was still quite new. I was okay at it, of course, not, you know, best in the world, but I was like good at it, fine. And I'm kind of disciplined, so I was like, yeah,
martial art, right?
I want to keep doing it, like do it as much as I can. And it was more of a recreational thing I wanted to keep on doing, but as every time I just kept doing it formally, I was just like, wow, like just keep growing bigger and bigger in myself. So I really wanted to eventually kind of do it more formally, because I was teaching martial arts before, and I love teaching. That's like what I like the most. So I was thinking, wait, you know, like if I can it makes sense to teach it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point of becoming an instructor if we don't like teaching. Like we can in anything that we like, you know, doesn't mean you like to teach it. So but you were teaching already, so a natural connection, like I like this too, I can teach it.
100%.
So when you did your course, that was in Mexico, obviously, in the beginning. So you actually did your first courses in cenotes, or?
Yeah, 100%. Like,
wow.
I didn't freedive after learning how to freedive properly in the sea until months after. I was just decided to, since I was living in a little cabin in the jungle, and I was using all my days off to go different cenotes, different places, check them out, and, you know, like these kind of things. So I was just like, wow, like there's just so much to do, and super excited about that. But it was all like cenotes, cenote freediving,
Yeah.
freediving. So yeah, that's how
Wow.
it started.
But you left. I mean, you started there,
Mm-hmm.
and you have this cenotes to dive in, which is like a dream for everybody. But you actually left Mexico to pursue your instructor course and so on.
Yeah, whenever I started, there was no one available there to teach me the instructor course, and somehow I just kept, as I started to doing like next level courses, Dahab kept coming to the conversation, or I was just reading things about Dahab, and I was like, okay, so there's this place in Egypt called Dahab, where people freedive apparently. And that's pretty cool. And then I was like, yeah, and then I can do my instructor course there. And, you know, at this time I had barely zero experience properly freediving in the sea. I could go on the fun dives with to the reef or things like this sometimes, but it was mostly
Cenote.
cenotes all the time. For me, it was so normal. So eventually I keep training, and it took a couple times, like months, maybe a year, and then I was ready. And then this is when I showed up in your shop.
I know.
Yeah,
That was exciting.
Yeah, it was super cool. I remember.
And you said like, wow, there you can see things like even
Yeah,
when you dive
actually,
down.
we had one day before the instructor course started, and I went freediving with someone that was going to take the course as well.
Yeah.
Their candidate, and then we were freediving, and we did a couple 40-meter dives, and then I was like, wow, so you actually have light at 40 meters. He's like, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm just like with my notebook. Okay, cool. Actually, I remember how how salt water is a bit more dense, and I was thinking maybe I need to equalize a couple more times, and I was just like so distant from salt water.
Yeah. So yeah, because Cenotes is in that sense more like a lake, maybe. Let's I mean, I think most have seen amazing pictures of the cenote, but I know before I met you and really you spoke a lot about it. My idea of it was like very limited, of what it actually is. So why don't you give a little brief explanation of what it is, or like, what is a cenote?
So
here we have a picture.
What is, technically speaking, what it is a natural sinkhole, freshwater natural sinkhole. The word cenote, it comes from a Mayan word called zonot, with D-Z-O-N-O-T.
Zonot.
Zonot, or with T as well, zonot. And it just means like cave with water. Okay. So how they were actually formed, there are a couple of theories, but the most accurate one so far is like, this is all limestone. It used to be reef. And then during the last ice age, the water levels dropped, and all this limestone, like the jungle started to grow over it, like taking over this limestone. And since all of this area, it has underground rivers, freshwater rivers, because of the they are being filtered by this limestone and jungle. So they are quite acidic. So they actually start to dissolve the limestone, right? So as we speak, they are doing this in a very slowly pace. And eventually all this limestone layer on top, you can say, started to collapse when the water levels started to go back up again. Now that's why they are filled up again, but they used to be empty for many years. That's why, as we can see in the picture, you can see stalactites, stalagmites, and that means they cannot grow underwater, and they grow
Not true. So it was
in
like
ground.
proper, like just a huge cave system.
Caves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then it got water filled.
exactly. So since they are being fed by underground rivers, the water is constantly flowing, and some of them that are closer to the sea, they can have a, yeah, you can see here like how the formations like grow down, and it's quite a beautiful thing to
It's
see.
amazing.
It's
Yeah,
nice to
it
dive
looks
in there.
fantastic. Like the color of the water is just,
It's
and it reflects on the surface, I mean on the roof, and yeah.
it is technically like this because this fresh water is being filtered by the limestone and by the jungle itself. That's why. Of course, if there are other places that doesn't have as much of this filter, the water is not as clear, but in cenotes happen to be quite clearish.
Like super clear.
So it's very, very nice.
So this is like a, like what you call a closed cenote?
This would be a closed cenote. Actually, as you can see now, this would be like a closed one, a younger one. Because the open ones, it means like this rooftop already fell. You know what I mean? Like eventually the rooftops are gonna fall down, and this is more of a mature cenote. And this one in the photo is kind of like a younger one because
there's still a lot of roof.
It's still a lot of roof, and and
this particular one that we're looking at now, like if I, how deep is that? Like what?
This one is shallow, around no more than 6-7 meters maybe in the proper corners. This one it's from a special private place, and actually they were running a few research programs, and they have footage of jaguars coming inside this one to drink some water.
Wow.
And this one is quite pristine. It's not open to public or anything. It's beautiful. Also, they have like super nice apiculture with a melipona bee, which is a special kind of bee that doesn't sting, and they have like very nice projects in here. But as soon as a little bit of more people started coming, the jaguars like stopped coming. So they were like, no, like we're just letting it that way. And
wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. So that is a closed cenote.
That was a closed cenote. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you have any picture of an open cenote?
Yes, I must have a couple photos. Like normally open cenotes, you see like clearly the entrance.
It just technically means that the ground on top has fallen in more. So
exactly, and that normally is in the bottom. You can see here, for example, like the view from top. And some of them you can go like directly in, like it's probably a meter or so, and some other like this one, I think it's like a 14-15 meter jump. So you can also go down with a stair. You can see the staircase made of wood. But yeah, every cenote has a different entrance, but this is a more mature one.
But so the entrance here, for instance, there's a staircase there on the side, I think.
Yeah.
So who's in charge of doing that stuff, like making it accessible?
So they are all around the area, and basically everywhere. They just keep finding more and more. Because since they have like systems, they have like shuttles down there like connected. Sometimes just the rooftop can fall, and there you have cenote, And if that is in your piece of land, technically speaking, the access belongs to you. Maybe not the water itself, but that's like your backyard. And of course, whenever people find this, they have a tendency to put the, well, first off, call the proper people, which is the INA, and they check if there's remainings and how is it, and the toxicity of the clouds, and like, they do a proper exploration, and then they decide if they will build a staircase and open like public access, but they have to.
So it's technically like whoever has one is their cenote, whoever owns the land.
Yeah, exactly. And in that area, there's these things called ejidos, which is like big piece of land that belongs to a community of people, normally Mayan local people, and then they will choose like who is in charge of the ejido at this time of the year, and then they're gonna regulate. This is another example, for example.
Yeah, here they put the staircase down to enter. Yeah.
This one is another kind of semi-open, could be closed. Cenote. This one actually has 7 these different gates, or
Okay. So it's like a bigger
it's a
space
bigger
of
one.
water
It
with
has
more
7
holes.
mouths. It's called siete bocas, which means 7
Okay.
mouths. And then, of course, if you dive down, you can see on the sides like how the.
So it's more like an underwater lake.
Can be,
Holes in it.
can grow big, like, they make their way out because they are dissolving the
Yeah.
limestone at some point, and this one can be quite deep, and yeah, this is a good example of a.
So how deep is this one?
This one, depending on the areas, can be 30, 40, 50 meters around this. I heard that it can be quite deeper, but since it's not the most accessible place to actually try diving deeper, cannot be the best idea to free dive in there and go as deep.
How many, it's like, how many cenotes are there?
No, that question is tough. People estimate minimum more than 6,000. I say probably more, much more. It's just, you can be just walking in the jungle and there's a tiny hole, and then there's just another one and another one, and it just keeps happening, like they're everywhere. And of course, many parts of the limestone hasn't collapsed yet in many areas, so it still happens even in the main highway. There's like the federal highway, and then whoop, starts like falling, like whoop, and there's some water there, and it's a system underwater.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's that.
Okay. So I mean, 6,000, but it's not like everybody's using them or diving in them. They're different sizes.
Yeah, like can be like many of them are just private, and you cannot go in. Many of them are not diveable, let's say. Many of them are like private, or many of them are open. Of course, depending where they are located, they vary in shape and color, depth, and things like this.
So there's another thing that these very common pictures we see from people diving in cenotes, like the sun rays coming down in the water. I mean, this is so specific. Like, why is that happening there?
So I say first is because
there's a picture.
Yeah, so the fresh water is quite clear because it's been filtered, right?
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, if you have the right position, this is quite a tropical area, so it just fully goes in this light. But some cenotes are special and different to others. So especially in this cenote, for example, there's a hydrogen sulfide cloud. This basically means that organic material that falls down, of course, from the trees on top, leaves and something like this.
Oh, wow, wait, this is a nice photo. So, I mean, because the light is only in the middle, because that's the size of the hole of the opening.
Exactly. Like this opening actually goes all the way to the parking lot. Like the access looks quite small. Then it just grows bigger sideways. Like it's just a massive chapel.
Like the hole, under the opening, it's much bigger. Yeah.
It's not the case in all cenotes. In this one particularly, it is. But yeah, and
so that's the light magic.
Yes, it's like an abduction. It's just magical. Whenever I've seen these lights in many places. These caves, and they are beautiful, gorgeous caves in Okinawa, and sometimes in Egypt. In some caves, you can see like similar kind of things.
Yeah.
And since I left for quite a long time, I was like, this. I was always thinking, this reminds me of cenotes. This reminds me of cenotes. It did, But then I came back and I just saw again those lights. I'm like, yeah, but nowhere close. Like, this is just insane. Like, it's just gorgeous. Every time I go back, I come back, it's just like, wow. It just, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
here we have a cloud.
Another thing regarding the light, why it looks so good sometimes in some cenotes is because there's a hydrogen sulfide cloud, which is organic material that gets trapped, and in the absence of oxygen, it just develops this cloud. In this particular cenote, which is Cenote Angelita, sometimes this cenote shows like a cloud flowing, so it looks like a river, and you're already underwater. It's quite a famous one. Like, many scuba divers and some free divers go there constantly, and this is, for example, a Saki freediving above the cloud. And yeah, it gives this, this, you can see the trees in the other photo, how the
Now wait, this is, yeah, the other one, yeah. But this is amazing. It's like you're literally in the cloud.
Yeah, and for example, this photo was taken in a cloudy day.
Okay.
You cannot see it this way if there is sun, right? It was bouncing back, like the lights just bounce back, creating this
okay.
light box whenever it's sunny and in the right angle. This was a cloudy day, and then of course you can see clearly the cloud.
The cloud better. Okay. But also, on the other, on the previous picture, there was a lot of trees. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, or well, branches, I would say. Yeah. So that's, does it, where, is that the bottom, or is there more water?
That's a cenote, especially, of course, there's this tendency of trees to get the food. So it means sunlight. So whenever they start growing on top of cenote, they kind of go in so they can get enough sunlight. And then eventually they grow up bigger and bigger. So they have the tendency to fall down. So this organic material can accumulate. And this is what you're seeing now in the photo. You can see the branches. But in this case, yeah, that would be the first official kind of bottom. But this cenote grows sideways down as well, another 30 meters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you go sideways in this.
Down, okay.
This
through place. The cloud.
Yeah, you have to go through the cloud, and normally, of course, more of a tech diving thing.
But these clouds, how, are they like very thick?
They vary, and that's one of the kind of tests that the divers have to do before kind of deciding. They have to explore. They can check how toxic it is, what is the basic composition of these. If it's light, this one is not as strong. It could be if you stay longer, but not like super long time. But not as strong. Other cenotes, immediately you start like smelling like rotten egg inside your mask, and could get like a rash to some divers. So free divers, normally we don't stay that long, so it's not a big problem. But it is important to kind of know, like,
so like, because the cloud clearly, like, it starts very immediately. How do you say, there's clear and then there's a cloud?
Yeah.
Does it stop like that too, or does it just keep being?
It can grow because it can vary as well. Some clouds are just 1-2 meters. Some of them are 10 meters. It can vary, and they can be different clouds in the same cenote at different depths. So you can go from good visibility and then a green cloud and then good visibility again with less light, of course, and then brown cloud. And then I remember this effect freediving and free falling, and go, oh, now I'm here. Oh, no, I'm there. Oh, yeah, it makes sense. My alarm is here. And you're like changing as well temperatures. Maybe you go in a saltwater cloud and then you just warmer again and then chilly again.
Wow. Yeah. But you said like green cloud and brown cloud, they're still all sulfuric acid, or?
They vary, but yeah, in general, that's kind of like what the organic material can build in there. So it's pretty nice show. That, as I said, it has an effect on the light bouncing.
Yeah. So, but not all cenotes have this, or all, I mean, I guess, or yes.
So they can vary. In most cenotes are not as deep. So they can be 5, 10, 12 meters. And they're more shallow. You can find clouds, but more like when they, for example, some of them are connected through cave systems, and this is a cave diving thing to do when they go and dive in there.
And then there's
and they can
clouds
find some like halo climb where it's this connection of salt water and fresh water. It looks super crazy and blurry. That's another thing effect. It's funny. Yeah. So that's a little bit about the lights and the clouds of the cenotes.
Yeah. And wow. So how do I say this? What am I trying to say? The deepest cenote, like how deep would the deepest known cenote be?
I know of, the ones that I know and I've been diving in are around 120. But of course, since they have some organic material, there's the kind of the same thing that happens in the blue hole in Egypt. That it's a bit deeper, but for free diving, especially, there's a limit where you don't want to go a bit all the way down.
Yeah.
So it happens in some cenotes like this that you need to shorten the line, and then limit is 92, even if cenote is 120, because or the cave goes a little bit in and gets more tricky and things like that.
That's like blue hole. Yeah.
So
the tech divers can go deeper there, but we can't if we follow a straight line. Then
you're gonna get So that can happen as well, and there's a clouds or organic material. So
if we speak like that's like depth, but if we speak like width, like which one would be the biggest this way? Or
so some of them can be like barely you can fit, and then there's a massive thing under, and some of them are a couple meters, and there's this kind of combination that are like cenotes and mangroves, especially closer to the sea. And then you have both like freshwater wildlife and a little bit of saltwater wildlife. They kind of are a bit wider, more open, like proper mangrove with a combination with cenote. So in these ones, of course, it's easier to see the halo climb effect, right?
Yeah, of course.
And they can be wide as you need people go swimming around, and it takes a long time to go around it.
Okay. So they can be.
Yeah.
If you compare, since I know you've been in blue hole, Daha blue hole, like if you compare with that bigger.
Yeah, probably around that they can maybe not in a perfect circle like the blue hole in Daha, but they can have like a little trail, if you say something like this, and it connects with caves. And
wow.
And in these ones, of course, there's they have a higher chance to have other kinds of animals also outside.
Yeah, because what kind of animals do you actually find in the cenote?
Yeah,
small fish.
Different kinds. There's endemic, like they have some sort of eels that they are blind, only live in cenotes. They are endemic. You have the catfish. There's some like guppies, like freshwater small kind of fish, nothing big. Regarding fish, some cases in some cenotes you can get we have 3 kinds of crocodiles in Mexico, and so here's an example of one.
Amazing.
This one is a Moreleti crocodile, and it's quite famous. I'm sure many people.
How big is that one? That particular.
This one is not that big, maybe around a meter.
Yeah.
And this.
But isn't it?
Yeah.
Aren't crocodiles dangerous?
I mean, they potentially can be, but this special kind of crocodile, it's called as well a Mexican crocodile. They don't grow as big. They feed on smaller things, especially when they are not full mature. Yeah, they can be 3 meters and more. But he's quite friendly, and he's very used to divers. Sometimes he just goes for little swim, and this is when things like this happen.
Wow, awesome
Yeah.
picture. So that is like taken from under, and you can see
From under, you can see the trees.
the jungle. Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah. Other cases you can, for example, there are cenotes that are the ones that I mentioned closer to the sea that have bigger entrances. They can be very good for shark nurseries. They're more protected from predators.
Okay.
Or they can be, like manatees used to go in there and have like, you know, a lot of interaction in cenotes. So yeah, like it varies. Nothing to worry about. Like actually,
No, just crocodiles.
yeah, not common at all. Like some of them might have, and they will not go like big. And it's not like you go in the water, where are the crocodiles coming? No way. Like you will know, and they will tell you. And yeah,
Cool.
But you can see them.
We got a question from Hugo. Okay. We were getting there, so let's do it. What is the water temperature in the cenotes? It's a good question.
Okay, yeah, it's I would say average 25 Celsius. Average.
Okay.
You can get, of course, 24, 23. Depends a little bit, of course, in how big. For example, if it's a closed cenote, the light ray in a cloudy day, for example, is basically none, so it stays kind of cool, right?
So
open
the more
cenote,
open, the warmer.
Yeah, it could get a bit warmer. I think no more than 26, but between there, I'd say 24, 25, 26 all year round. That's good.
And thermoclines, like the same. I mean, seems like you have a lot of things going on in layers.
Yeah. So depending as well in the cenote. Some cenotes have thermocline until very deep and after many clouds. I remember one where we used to have a thermocline around 10 meters because it was inside a lagoon.
Okay.
And the first 10, 12 meters was around 30 degrees because it was quite warmish, like the lagoon, bad visibility actually. And as soon as you cross this, like fresh cold water, you go, whoa, now you're in the cenote, and then you can see everything, and it opened up.
So first you felt like the sea, and then you get into the, wow. Was it like salt water on top also, and then fresh water under?
More like a lagoon. Yeah, no, it was still fresh water, but just different color. And then you were, switching between colors and temperatures. It was quite impressive.
But like you mentioned the name, like the Angelita, for instance, is a famous one. Like, do they have thermoclines there?
They might have down under after the cloud. I never been there because you cannot go unless you're a tech diver. And I've been playing around the cloud, but not deeper. But so far that I know, not really. Maybe it could be a degree, but I don't really think so in the first 28 meters at least.
Okay. So it's not so common. Like if you go there to free dive in the cenotes, if you like, okay, I'm going to go to Mexico and I'm going to free dive, thermoclines is not an issue.
They could be, of course, depends on the cenote. Since they have so special characteristics, some of them can have a strong thermocline after a cloud, after 30 meters, 40 meters, and it's there. It just vary. But in general, it's not like the most common thing in the general recreational freediving. Yeah.
But like around 25, you say that's...
Yeah, no, not so common. Not so common.
Yeah, but I mean, no. The temperature in general before thermocline is around 25-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, if you live in Asia or Egypt, maybe you think that's cold, but I think that's reasonable. Yeah. Very reasonable.
Yeah, and the good thing is that there's just this tropical weather outside, so you just go and
it's refreshing then, right?
Yeah, you go back up and you start sweating after 5 minutes. You're like, time to go back.
Yeah. What suit do you use? Like, what's most common? Like 3 mil?
Ideally, you want a proper 3.5 mil, comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the winter sometimes you need a 5. Because
so is there a big difference in temperature from summer and winter?
Yeah, it can be. It can be mostly because of the rain. there's less sun, and then can be windy a bit, and temperature can drop a bit during the day. So then the water gets chilly, and then outside it's a bit chilly. Of course,
Yeah.
a little bit. It's still tropical time, and at lunchtime you're still gonna be sweating.
Yeah. Okay. So a good proper 3 meal or a little bit more than 3 meal is what you would recommend if somebody would say, hey, I'm gonna come, what should I bring?
If you're thinking of the 1 meal, maybe don't bring that one, bring the 3 or the 5. What I do a lot is I use the 5 top and then the 3mm pants. It's a good combo.
Yeah, it is. That's what we do here in the winter too. No, well, I said winter we have the full 5 mil, but then you start with swapping the pants. And then eventually swapping the jacket.
I remember. I remember. That was tough. Just outside the blue hole shaking. Like, winter in Egypt. It's crazy.
Yeah, because it's not tropical like in Mexico.
Yeah, it was so windy.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about depths you can find, but how many cenotes have you dived in? I mean, there is so many.
Yeah, like a lot. Yeah, because since when I started, that was like my hobby, basically. Just on my days off for a whole year was just this like just going around and then working on some of the water productions, going to other spots, and dozens, I don't know, close to 100 maybe, around that.
Wow.
Yeah.
But is there that many like now, like is it that many that are open for people to go free diving, like more commercially, or?
Look, depending where is the area where you're there, since they are in 3 states of the area, like they can be in Yucatan, they can be in Quintana Roo, they can be in Campeche, mostly in Yucatan and Quintana Roo. In general, the more inland you go, they could be deeper, a little bit cooler, but deeper. So sometimes you are in a specific city or town, and then you have a very nice ones close. And of course, you go to the touristy place closer to the beach. Then you have access to other ones that are closer, and you have to make a big trip. It can be 3 hours, 4 hours driving in. It's just a big piece of jungle, so there are many. Accessible for diving, you have to, follow maps and things like this. There are there are many, of course, available, but you just keep finding more and more.
Keep finding more and more.
It's magical.
Yeah.
Every time I go back, I just find new different ones, and it just keeps getting better. I'm like, wow, yeah.
How do you find new and different ones? Like, you just
areas that I have an idea of. I've been driving in the area for years. I've been coming to that area since I was a kid as well. Even before I started freediving, I used to go to cenotes, vacations and things like this. And it's just areas that I tried to that I never been before. I just try to make something through there, find something, and then sometimes. Last time Masaki was the one, like, let's try this one, because we were looking at maps, and then we arrived, we were like, wow, like, what's this? It's amazing, one of the most beautiful I've seen, and I didn't even know the name, and it's not like popular at all.
But you kind of find it by the like kind of marked somewhere on a map. Do you think that looks like?
I go to an area.
That looks like there is looks like a cenote on the map. Let's see if we can.
Could be, but you can find some with the maps, but at the same time, there's these satellite pictures from top, and sometimes they are covered by trees. You have to actually walk the limestone to see if there's something down there. So it's not like you can see everything from the Google Maps. There's a bunch of things that you need to walk around and explore and knock on doors and ask around, and then you are like finding these treasures.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun because they really have their own energy, their own kind of style. each
Mhm.
cenote, and then it's like you're always free diving, but in different places. It's so interesting. It's yeah.
Have you ever been scared there diving in any cenote?
Not really. At the beginning, of course, it started to get darker. As you can
Yeah.
see, the photo, they can get darker.
Wow.
And sometimes when you're diving down, it can get closer, the tunnel. So
It gets
it
narrow.
gets darker, but you're free
Mm.
falling or whatever. And then sometimes I like just to close my eyes. So I got used to that feeling. But for
Mm.
many people I know, like very good divers, deep divers,
Mm.
and they go down, and for them it's a bit like spooky, like this sensation of they've been training always in Egypt or in Asia. Of course, there's light or
Yeah.
more light. Then they are, diving in this cylinder, and they're like, oh, like okay.
Mm. Now
So
this.
for me, I'm used to that. But in this case, this cenote, it's 120 meters deep, 118.
Okay, so it's a
And
deep one. It looks quite big, also quite wide.
it's
Yeah.
big. It's big.
Mm.
This one, we arrived a bit late in the day, so there's not that direct angle from the sun. And yeah, so you dive around 25 meters, and then you just see like this big mouth. It's important to say that cenotes for Mayan people were the entrance to the underworld, very sacred places that
Mm.
could be used for sacrifices, that could be used for water supply. They have like different use for them, and
Yeah.
it's a very energetic place, sacred for Mayans, for Mexican people. Like it's special places. And this one, we arrived a bit later in the day, and I was preparing my camera, and I was telling Tosaki, yeah, like you can warm up. Like we were just to take some ready to take some photos. But I see something, like she's a bit, I don't know, overwhelmed. Of course, she loves freediving. She's great at it. But then I go down and I just see her coming back from that place, like super, not scared. It's just, yeah, that sensation of this is just powerful and big, And like I got this photo coming down a bit late, and then she's coming back like, yeah, this is a bit spooky.
But I mean, the picture is so amazing. It looks like it's a drone picture from above, and the brown sides are like the surface, but you're actually under the water.
I'm
already.
underwater. I'm around
Yeah, so
5-8 meters going down, and she's just coming back up.
so that's like cliffs going in, like making the hole narrower on the
Making a
side.
hole
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
And
It looks like a crater, volcano crater or something underwater.
yeah, that's the thing. Other ones look like a beautiful lily garden with these colorful plants on there and these colorful fish around. Other ones are more greenish and cloudy, like these clouds. This one is,
wow.
for example, you can see the entrance of the cave. I'm behind Osaki, of course, and then like they vary so much in shape and color. It's just different experience every time.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's really like cave diving.
Of course, all the time you see the cave divers, bye bye, and they just
go,
we're going for 1 kilometer, maybe more, and they're whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
So you never had anything bad happen to you then, or any?
No. Cenotes are, even if it's like raining, like there's no current, it's just such a safe spot to dive in. I feel so comfortable. It's very peaceful, surface intervals in the buoy. You're just talking, and there's the jungle and the butterflies, and
Oh my God.
it's nobody sometimes, and maybe just another buoy or some divers going in, and it's just so peaceful, and it's so different than everywhere else. It's really fun.
Some of my favorite pictures of the cenotes, like, I mean, is actually the ones when you were showing me first time, like when you're, like the one you had of the crocodile now, yeah? When you're under the water and you're looking through the surface and you see the jungle outside.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Like that
Yeah,
for me, like also really gives the feeling of where you are, you know, and the
yeah, you're in the
it's
jungle. It's
amazing. Yeah,
different. It's
yeah.
different for sure.
Maybe it's because
And
I'm in the desert here that it's like, oh look, there are trees.
no, it is amazing. Like it
uh,
is even for people like me that we are used to do this. Like we're just
mm,
hanging at 10, 12 meters, looking up like, wow, like this is unreal. Like
yeah.
it's just so great, so live, you
Wow.
know, alive. And you actually need a cloudy day to enjoy this. So it's very common that people would come and they're expecting these lights, and of course you can see it sometimes of the day, sometimes not. It's
Mm.
quite common that you can see the lights, but then it's a cloudy day and then they look up like, whoa, like what? Like there's trees on the surface. Like that's what I like about them. They can be so different. The experience can be so different, and
Even in the same
even the
cenote,
same
in a
cenote, you
different
go on a
day.
different day. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
magical.
Wow.
Yeah, some
Really nice.
outside some of them you see raccoons. Sometimes you get to see, in depending on the cenote, you could get maybe a few monkeys around, or it's just so fun to stay paying attention on what's going on around them.
Yeah.
Birds, the special kinds of birds. For example, we have these cenote keepers. They're bluish, and they live in cenotes, and they are called cenote keepers, and they're always
Okay.
around, and like the protectors, and there's just so much to enjoy there.
Mm,
It's beautiful. Mm.
super. So if somebody would go there, like what would you recommend? Like somebody wants to go and try to freediving cenotes. What's your recommendation? What risks should they consider? How they
Mm.
should prepare or what they should think about?
Well, first off, I'm talking about the cenotes, of protecting them. Um, since they are connected and the water is flowing, uh, avoiding sunscreen at all costs. Really don't do that. You can
Okay.
pollute them and change the chemistry of the water. Not nice at all. Um, Second, many freedivers sometimes use soap to put the wetsuits in, and then they don't use a very friendly soap or something. Just put it in the water, even if you take extra time, and it just this kind of
The
place
soap.
you
Yeah.
want to respect all kind of body of water, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
notice as well, like they're special. Um, Maybe mosquito spray for after the session, not for before. Some of them can
Okay.
get some proper mosquito action in there. Um,
Oh, my favorite.
yeah, yeah, horse lice, awesome. um, that's regarding taking care of the cenote, but for them, just if you don't have, you should buy, but for sure bring a lanyard,
Mm,
especially if you're used to freediving in other places that you're free of space, and sometimes you feel a bit close. Just always dive with a lanyard, and I always recommend go with someone that knows the area,
yeah.
someone that actually knows what they're doing. Proper formal instructor with the proper papers, with permits and things like this.
Yeah.
For sure, they're gonna make the whole experience. We're gonna make the whole experience better. We know where to take you. Like we know the best spots for sure.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend that. And of course, they will provide the best uh, setup as
Yeah. I
well.
mean,
They know these things. So
apparently there's a lot of cenotes to choose from.
yes,
So, and
yeah,
all of them will not be perfect for maybe the kind of free diving you were planning. So
exactly.
at
Or
least
not
you
the
need to do some proper research and
or
know
yeah,
what which
yeah, and this
cenote would fit your
yeah your
wishes.
needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, if you're freediving in a new area and in a new place, in a totally new environment, you want to
Mm,
feel relaxed and comfortable, not like, and of
yeah.
course,
But
diving with
that's
someone that knows
pretty,
the area.
yeah, that's pretty much true everywhere though. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it's really
Exactly.
nice to contact the
Yeah, for
local
sure.
people who know the place, and
100%.
and they will
Yeah,
tell you obviously also what rules to follow to be respectful
totally. Totally. And also they will
when in
guide you,
there.
guide you through it. For example, some cenotes, we didn't talk about this yet, but there's so many discoveries down there. Like,
Mm,
in many cases, some cenotes have these. They have found like mm, massive fossils of animals that used to live there. like sloth, these animals that go crawling very slowly.
Super slow. Yeah.
They found a 7-meter
Oh no, that's
skeleton
much
of a
bigger. That they're not that
massive.
big. Wow.
Yeah, they're definitely not that big now. They have found like massive jaguars, some
Wow.
kind of horses, and all of these findings, they call the INA, and then they do the research, and it helps to break down many theories about actually like evolution, migration, and
Yeah, it's interesting.
and
Poor
then they
thing.
of course preserve them, study them, and then display them on the Natural Museum. And this was found in that cenote or in this cenote, and they keep finding things.
Mm.
A higher amount of calcium in cenotes, so this can
Yeah.
help. This can help to preserve whatever they find a bit more than other kind of water. So that helps a lot. So it's nice to know, like, not just go and dive, like know the place, like the name, like this, what this used to
A
be.
little bit of history from it. Maybe.
That also complements the story, because the cenote is going to be beautiful. The experience is going to be amazing. The diving is just gorgeous. Just whenever you know a bit more of the context, it makes this the places even more special.
Yeah, of course. No, absolutely true. Okay, we're almost at an hour now.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Like
Time flies, when I talk to you always.
Yeah.
Okay, so so general idea, if anybody wants to go there, contact local schools or people who know where to go. And be careful, take care of the cenote. Don't use anything that pollutes the water.
Yes.
Body.
Be very careful with them.
Everything. Yeah.
Also, they can be quite far. Like sometimes you're going to a specific cenote and it can be just half an hour, and then some of them can be a 2-hour trip and there's no reception there. Like, keep things in consideration. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, go with the local specialized people. Like,
they would know. Yeah.
no reception in the middle of the jungle. It's also not a fun place to do something wrong. So go with someone that helps you be safe. That's important, and that knows the area and knows how to get there.
Yeah, that kind of helps too.
Very useful.
Okay, cool. Now we have asked this to everybody, like in the end of the session. If you got a free trip anywhere, all paid, all inclusive, anywhere in the world to go free diving, where would you go?
Oof. That's a very tough question. Oof. Can I say two?
Well, let me hear.
Well, if it's like for my own training, I would go. I really want to try Dominica at some point.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to try Dominica, not only underwater, like what I've seen on photos and videos. It's amazing. Yeah. But if it's for photograph, in the island where Asaki and where Asaki is located in the south of Okinawa,
Japan. Yeah.
We are like one flight away from this place called Yonaguni, which is this Yonaguni. Maybe this is a very bad pronunciation, but Yonaguni.
I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce proper Japanese. They have these like geological formations underwater. Looks kind of like a pyramid, like a temple under the sea. You've seen this?
I think maybe but you haven't been there yet.
I haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping when I go back, I can explore there. It has quite a current, for what I've heard, during seasons, and it's a tricky place to go. But I really want to go dive there and hopefully take some photos there. I would.
So it's mainly like about the structures underwater.
Yes, it just same way, some people, it's like cenotes and all these. Is like, for me, it's like exploring special places like these all around, because there are.
Yeah, there are many.
And I'm like, whoa, like Yonaguni definitely is a place I would love to, explore and take some photos there as well.
So when the Corona time has passed and you're back in Japan. I mean, from Mexico to think about that sounds very far, but you're going to go to Japan anyway. And then it's almost in your backyard there. Soon.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I'm super excited about that place. It feels, I feel like this is how people feel when they're about to come to Cenotes and they don't know, like this energy of like, wow, this is so different and special. I feel that way with Yonaguni. Like I just want to dive, and then when you dive and, for example, the blue hole, you see the arch, and then you whoa, like that sensation of like, I already.
It sounds like we know where you want to go. If you can,
for sure.
With your whole heart.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that.
Cool. So thank you so much, Carlos. It was a pleasure to have you with us. And
have someone ever asked you the same question?
Sorry?
Ever
where
you?
I want to go.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, Don asked me. I think Don asked me. And I do have, I mean, actually, this sounds stupid now, obviously, but the cenote is actually one place I want to go. But what I said then, which is also very true, is the Orca.
Oh, yeah.
Orca in Norway with Jacques, Wow.
Yeah, of course. If I could say a top 27,
that would be fantastic also. But yeah. But the cenotes is also something I might want to see one day. Yeah.
Yes.
So just let me know when it's open
again. It's open. I've been dying to bring you here.
But then you go to Japan, so let's see.
I guess I'll be bouncing back and forth.
Hopefully.
That's what I want to do. We have a lot of also big wildlife in the Pacific. Mexico, lucky for us, is quite rich. And there's a lot to explore, just that area. I'm planning on playing around.
Going back and forth a little bit,
For sure.
Okay, Carlos, thank you. And take care. And
let's be safe. Thank you so much for the space, for everyone.
You're more than welcome. It's always interesting talking to you. Okay.
Thank you. I enjoyed a lot.
Bye.